voice of Indonesia.
And you're still tuned to dari World Service, Voice of Indonesia, from Indonesia to the world. This song is really enjoyable, and I believe that most people will be dancing in the party and talking about party. Recently, Indonesia has the Democratic quote-unquote party in which we have the election. Last year, we know we have also not only the general election but also the regional elections. But in Indonesia, listener, in our democratic system, not only we have the election, but after that, after the election is finished, there is also, of course, some dispute that is being processed by our constitutional court, and this is the legal mechanism that Indonesia have. And to see how effective this is in guaranteeing the electoral justice and also in realizing our democracy, today we are going to have the morning talk about election dispute, justice or reform, and has been joining us on Zoom. We have the first one is Bapak Pan M. Faiz, the head of public relations at Protocol Bureau of Indonesian Constitutional Court. Good morning, Pak Faiz.
Good morning, Steve. How are you going?
I'm fine. Thank you very much for asking. And also, Bapak Himawan Estobagio, the chairperson of Association of Constitutional Law and Administrative Law Educators in East Java. Good morning, Pak Himawan.
Good morning, Steve. How is today? Pak Pan. Good morning, Pak Pan. It's good.
Morning.
Okay, it's nice to be here.
So I wish that everybody is having a good morning. So, gentlemen, I would like to begin with Pak Pan or Pak Faiz. Should I call you Pak Faiz or Pak Pan?
Faiz.
Faiz. Oh, okay. Okay, so Pak Faiz, this is a question from our newsroom. They requested, how many regional health election dispute cases that has been processed recently by the Constitutional Court?
The Constitutional Court has received 310 cases, and it has been going examined, and we have decided 270 cases so far. So it's remaining 40 cases, and even this morning, the judge still examined several cases. Yep.
Okay, so I would like to know, this is for the people out there who hasn't come to Indonesia, but they want to know about Indonesian justice system. So,
Yes.
Pak Faiz, how does a dispute over regional election results are reached in the Constitutional Court?
Regional head candidates who are dissatisfied with the election results due to, for example, alleged violations, fraud, errors in vote counting, they may submit a request for the annulment of the election results before the court. However, there are certain requirements that must be met before filing an election result dispute. First, regarding legal standing, the petitions or the applicants must be submitted by a pair of regional election candidates. So it cannot be submitted only by a candidate of governor or a candidate of vice governor. It has to be a pair of the candidates or an accredited election observers. Second, they are also regarding the time limit for filing an applications. The petitions must be submitted no later than 3 working days after Regional Election Commission announced the election results. There is also a requirement, what we call threshold requirement for filing an applications, which is a vote margin between the petitioner or applicants and the winning candidate ranging from 0.5% to 2% of the valid votes. And the important things, the applications must include clear arguments regarding the alleged violations or vote counting errors supported by relevant evidence. That's the requirement that has to be submitted by any application.
And in processing these applications, normally, how long does it take until the case is settled?
The court itself has an obligation to resolve all the cases not more than 45 days. But we have make a decisions faster than the time required. We have declared 270 cases on the last 4 and 5 February. And then we still have 30 cases that it will be declared next week on Monday, 24th February 2025.
Okay, so no more than next Monday.
Actually, we still have more time, but we can resolve all the cases hopefully faster than the time required.
And of course, in the legal system and also in justice, everybody wants to know that everybody processing the case is impartial. So, how does the Constitutional Court ensure that its decisions are not only final but also impartial?
That's a good question, Steve. There are two legal terms. You said the finality of the court decisions and the impartiality. Let me explain first about the finality. It is based on our constitution and constitutional court law. Decisions of the court are final and binding. What is the final and binding? This means that once a decision is issued, no further legal remedies can be pursued, such as appeals or annulment by other courts. So all parties, election organizer, and state institution must comply with the constitutional court decisions. Regarding the impartiality, we assure the public, including Indonesian abroad who are following this discussion, that all cases handled by the court are examined fairly, impartiality, and without bias. Several key measures support our commitment as the court. One is transparency and open hearings. All case examinations are conducted openly and transparently. Public and international community, they can follow every hearing via live streaming on the Constitutional Court official YouTube channel. Even for two-day hearings, if we open our YouTube channel, you can see the live streaming of the hearings. And additionally, the proceedings are recorded and transcribed into text, allowing all parties and public to review them at any time. So this ensures that public can verify and compare the proceeding or the hearings process with the final decisions issued by the court. In addition, the court has divided the judge into 3 panels to handle cases. However, each panel is prohibited from examining election dispute from the region where each member originates. So this mechanism also helps prevent any potential conflict of interest. And we also have what we call a right of recusal. So this is in legal term what we call hak ingkar in Bahasa Indonesia, where if there is a hearing dispute, one of disputing party has a family relationship with the judge, then the judge itself can voluntarily or based on justice deliberation meeting to recuse or withdraw him or her to examine the cases. And last but not least, and it is also important, the supervision by the honorary council of the Constitutional Court, what we call Majelis Kehormatan Mahkamah Konstitusi. So the entire election dispute resolution process is continuously monitored by the honorary council. This body has a function to investigate any reports or allegation of judicial bias to ensure that all judges remain impartial. So with this mechanism in place, the court ensures the public that regional election disputes are handled fairly and without bias.
Okay, and now I would like to invite Pak Himawan.
Okay.
So, sir, I would like to know, how do you assess the effectiveness of the dispute resolution system for the regional election with our constitutional court?
Well, we know that constitutional court have authority to make a decision, a dispute, a result of general election for local candidate. So we know that general election for local head is a 3-step, Steve. Firstly is administrative process. It's happening in a local. This handling by KPU. And then sometimes also dispute over there. This is, I said, this administrative review under executive review. And then we go on in voting process. And then we go on in calculating on counting process. So we have a 2 times dispute actually, yeah, in process and then in result. So we know that we should ensure that everything's gonna under a rule of law. And then we democratic process. And then under a rule of law again. So if you know the process from KPU is under rule of law. It should be regarding law. It should be legally. And then we go on in voting process. This is democratic. So there are some principle over there. It should be ensured happening out there. And then if the results will be shoe, it will be bring to constitutional court. You know, that's what Pak Faiz already said. What happened in constitutional court? I think constitutional court will ensure the process of putting it under democratic principle. That's Steve. Okay.
So we can say that the constitutional court and also in processing the dispute for the regional election and maybe other election is always reaching the meaning of our democracy in Indonesia. And I have a question is that is the system perfect or not? But please answer that after this one next. Stay tuned in the morning talk by the Voice of Indonesia.
RRI Digital with new look. Various collaborative content from various national programs, including live visual broadcasts, live radio broadcasts, music playlists, podcasts, video news, and various users' interaction features in the game. Various interesting content such as likes, comments, and shares, as well as live chat with broadcasters and users. Direct messaging and private chat facilities between app users are also available. RRI Digital, available on Google Store and App Store. RRI Digital.
In the morning talk, we are still talking about the Indonesian justice system related to the election dispute. Still with Mr. Faiz from Constitutional Court and also Pak Himawan from the Association of Constitutional Law and Administrative Law Educators in East Java. So before the song, I intentionally asked the question, is our system perfect? But the question is not completed yet. Is our system has perfect already to be in line with our democratic system? I would like to have this question for Pak Himawan. And maybe Pak Faiz, if you have another opinion, can also answer that. So Pak Himawan, what is your opinion?
Okay, Steve. That we know that election process is kindly regarding rule of law, the firstly, and then the process will be registration, campaigning period, voting days, and other. It is under rule of law. Should be completely rule of law. They said, I mean, this is I said this process of democracy. But after this, we go on in voting and result post-election. I mean, so we know that many regulation already dated in Indonesia to govern the election process. But we know that election is not only based on regulation, but the awareness, the knowing of regulation, the culture of people is related to this process. So until now, I think we should review again the process, directly process of local head election, because we know some area also still have a problem with budgeting and then the culture of voting over there. So if we still and going on with the system, we should more campaign again about the participation election or administrative process. It should be under principle impartial firstly, and I mean in bahasa Belanda openbaarheid van bestuur is opening administrative system. I think this should be make it in a future to make the process is better and better.
Okay, Pak Faiz, any opinion about this?
Yeah, the electoral system in Indonesia, we can say that it is one of the most complex in the world. Yeah, we have to acknowledge that. So with a large number of voters across Indonesia, and we have many election organizers involved, such as the General Election Commission, KPU, the Election Supervisory Agency, Bawaslu, even the Integrated Law Enforcement Center, what we call Gakumdu, the Honorary Council of Election Organizer, the KPP, the Constitutional Court, the Administrative Court, and other courts. So we can say the system certainly requires some improvement. But the most crucial aspect that need evaluation is how election process dispute can be resolved as quickly as possible, so that only fewer cases are brought before the Constitutional Court, because basically the court itself is actually only responsible for handling regional election result dispute, not all election dispute. Because each organizer, they have their own function and authority. So we cannot bring all the cases before the Constitutional Court.
Yes.
Yes, the court serve as the last bastion in the electoral dispute resolution process, but in resolved cases, it has to be done before they come to the Constitutional Court.
Yes.
Okay, so only for the election result, and also there are room for improvement. So with this, we both know Pak Himawan and also Pak Faiz says there are room for improvement. So the final question is that what is our joint commitment, both the Constitutional Court, the people, and also the legal practitioners across Indonesia to make our democratic system more perfect? Starting from Pak Himawan.
Okay. Because that's we have a complicated system in Indonesia, rely on the election, head of election. Firstly, I think according to our constitution, we know that the election is not dated the direct election or indirect election. Firstly, so if we know the problem in implementation, we got many problem. Some ideas also propose that we back to indirect election. It is already now also there, but I think it is will be a backside. I think it should true with the direct election. The secondly, we should have I think a different system in many local. So it is not the same. Asymmetries, I mean, because the situation of local government is different. The culture, the fundraising to support the budgeting is different. So in to face the best way in for the next election, I think we should spirited system according to the situation of local government, the culture, the budgeting for the election, and that's the situation of population of local voter. I think it is better. We have three things that we can combine the system of election in local government, I think.
So it's a little bit case by case to make sure that it is suitable with the situation. And also, Pak Faiz, what is your answer?
There are several key reforms and improvement that should be considered. I will just mention several of them. One is strengthening election management and oversight. This is a must. We have to enhance the independence, transparency, and professionalism of elections management bodies. We could also improve coordination between election organizers, because sometimes there is a misinformation or communication among the election management bodies itself. Second, we need to improve voter educations and participations. Yeah. How to improve it? We have to strengthen civic education to increase public awareness about democratic values, voting right, electoral integrity, including encourage higher voter participations, while we need to combat voter political disinformations. Another things that we need to do is enhancing electoral integrity and reducing fraud or irregularities, because we need to implement stronger measures to prevent and penalize electoral fraud, vote buying, or we call it money politics and political corruption. Last not what least, we could also utilize technology for transparent election. Example, by using digital technology for voter registration, it is on like vote counting or election monitoring to minimize fraud and human error. We have been implement what we call Sirekap, for example. And by implementing this reform, we hope that Indonesia's democracy and electoral system can become more transparent, fair, and efficient.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, Pak Himawan, and also Pak Faiz for joining us in the morning talk. And we wish that this improvement will happen and also bring a better democracy for Indonesia. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Yeah. Pak Faiz, thank you. Pak Steve, thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. All right, listener, that is our morning talk about the democracy and also the justice system in processing the election result dispute. And we wish that whoever that you are voting, not only in Indonesia, but also in your place, in your country, differences should not be a cause of conflict.
Voice of Indonesia.